Happy Thursday. Dr. Jason Dean, bravetv, your source for health, freedom, and knowledge. And I need a partner today.
Hey, everyone.
Did you wear that on purpose today, or is that?
No, you know what? My mom bought this for me, and it in a weird way, it has like this weird mindset thing happening with me where I feel like I'm gonna go run for the gold medal in the Olympics, and now I feel like going to the gym. So I'm gonna leave it on, so that
Is it a
way
hoodie?
I'm
What is it?
productive. No, it's just like a quarter zip.
Oh, quarter. Okay, I got it. It looks very Olympic-ish.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So
Summer
now I
Olympics
feel like
coming.
going to the gym. So
Summer Olympics on the way here.
we'll do that. We'll go to the
So
gym today.
did they force every Olympian to get vaccinated in 2020 and 2020? No, not 2020. 2022. But now 2024, there's probably no requirement for Paris, is there?
Probably no
That's
requirement
so retarded.
as of yet. However,
Actually, there was no requirement for 2022. I'm sorry. Because
was
I
it
know of people
Tokyo?
that went over that did not have to.
No, it wasn't Tokyo. What was it?
Tokyo.
It was Tokyo. Okay. That was some scary freaking stories. So I actually have a friend who's on the Olympian softball team. I went to high school with her, and then she went to University of Michigan, and now she's on the USA softball team. And I don't know. I'm not that close of a friend with her to be like, hey, are you fucking nuts? Because she's worked her entire life for it. But like, if they didn't get vaccinated or if they tested COVID positive, you were like stranded from the outside world in a place that you don't know in a hotel room.
It's weird.
Yeah.
I'm looking if they're required.
I appreciate that, Lori. I used to run like 8 miles a day. I need to get back into that. So if this in a weird way helps me with that mentality, I don't know. It's just like a comfy, sporty, almost looks like a hockey jersey now on camera, but it's not.
As of, well, yeah. So as of, well, USATF, which is a track and field, they're requiring all medical. All medical providers must be fully vaccinated and follow current CDC in regard to COVID-19.
But now the CDC regulations say to treat it as if it's the flu.
Right.
Like literally there's no more, it's only like 24 hours. If you have a fever, no more even like a 5-day window, nothing.
Paris 2024 purchase hospitality. There's there's no well, so I can't say who, but I do know people in the Olympics in what year was it? Wasn't there a 20 not 20, was it 2020? No, the vaccine came out in 2021, correct?
Yeah, technically.
Wasn't there a summer games of something? Because when did the wrestlers are in Summer
I
Olympics?
think the one got like postponed.
But I remember a few years ago that girl, the black girl won like Olympic gold for wrestling, and like she was like awesome, and she like said all the right things and like pro America, and they tried to make her go woke and she didn't. Do you remember that?
Nope.
The reason I ask is because I know a chiropractor who was over there taking care of them, and the chiropractor did not have to get vaccinated, and the girl did not get vaccinated. But I thought that was at Olympic Games. But then I also know this. I think this is quiet behind the scenes because I have been in communication with a current WWE star behind the scenes who is having a health challenge. And I asked about specific health challenge and how it could be related to adverse reaction. And I was told, well, it can't be that because I didn't take it. But on the surface level, the public was told that all wrestlers had to take it.
Yeah.
So I think behind the scenes, Nicolette, like they made the public believe that everyone across the board, all sports, you're getting this, there's no way out of it, blah, 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 making the public believe all their athletes and stars got it. And then behind the scenes, it was, if you push back hard enough, they're not like, even Aaron Rodgers, he's like, I'm not doing this shit.
It only takes one, like, and that's why it's so important to speak up about stuff, is because it's the group mentality of like,
Right.
you don't want to be alone. I don't know the name of the study, but there's a study where it's like they do it with like a randomized group every time, but so they have like 4 lines and you're supposed to pick out what's the tallest line, and they tell 3 out of 4 of the people to say the wrong answer. So then the fourth person who doesn't like isn't told that will then say the wrong answer and second guess themselves because they're like, am I the crazy one? Because all 3
Right.
of the other people are saying that this is the longest line. Um, so it's a very powerful thing. And I mean, we're seeing it more and more every day. The more and more people that speak up, or like school
Yeah, so a
boards.
lot of the Olympic wrestlers did not get it because Kim, her husband, went over and he's not vaccinated because he's a chiropractor. Like, they definitely didn't force anything.
Yeah. And I think it's the same for a lot of things. There was ways around it in almost every avenue. And look at the people that, stuck their neck out and were still fighting. What do you call just got there was a lawsuit of the military, and there's also a lawsuit of hospitals and stuff that were enforcing it. And, they're all getting their jobs back with back pay. Not only that, they now have a lawsuit that they didn't have the right to mandate for a vaccine. So it is in our favor, but you need those people that are strong enough to speak out against it. And they're like, there's no way that I'm doing this. And I want to keep my job at the same time. And I know the mentality of like, why would you want to work for somebody like that? But if you went to school for nursing or to be a medical doctor, where are you going? You know what I'm saying? If you still want to practice, where are you going if not for a hospital or a practice?
Let's briefly talk about that. Okay?
Yeah.
This is in no judgment of anybody out there. I'm just making statements that are based on what I see, right? I get asked all the time, Nicolette, from people, if so-and-so wants to go do this or this line of work, and it's usually the health field, what should they do? And I always say, well, one, why would you do that? And two, why are they going into that field? Second of all.
Yeah.
And then I usually get back, well, you don't understand. Not everyone's like you. And I say, I don't want...
Why are you asking my opinion?
Trust me, I don't want everyone to be like me. That's priority number one. Please don't be like me. There's one of me, and that's kind of all we can handle in this world, right? Ask my wife. But
yeah.
Second of all, you're asking me the question. And then third of all, at what point, Nicolette, at what point, now I know I have not hit the later years of my child being in teenager and adulthood yet, right?
Yeah.
But I can take you through what my wife said to me when I decided to go into healthcare. We sat down. She told me, you love what we do right now and what I do, and it's helped you. If you go through a mainstream medical way of doing it, I'll support you. However, just know you're most likely going to hate every minute of the training because it's going to go against everything you want. If you're willing to do that, that's fine. We're support you, but it's probably not a great idea to go into something that you're there's other ways of helping people and
right.
getting it done faster, more efficient, but also even having more information than the average person. So when someone goes, I want to go in healthcare, do people just not realize that there's far more industries and healthcare and things that you can do, because at the end of the day, Nicola,
Yeah.
wouldn't you, I would tell my daughter, I can't tell you what to do, but I'm not going to sit here and fight for you. If you go into this, if you want to be like a doctor and a surgeon, and now it's a world of vaccine this and vaccine that, I will support you emotionally through it, but I'm not going to battle the same battles you're like. If you like, just know they're going to try to require you to do the things that you did not grow up learning. And if you
Yeah, it's
do
a lot
that,
harder.
you're fighting everything you know. And why would you do that? Like, why would you even go down that road?
It's a lot harder to battle something from the belly of the beast, honestly.
Why
And
would you walk into an industry you don't agree with?
no, I agree with that. And but my point is like for the people that are already when I was talking about that, I meant like the nurses and stuff who were already in the industry, say a pediatric nurse, love dealing with kids, love doing that. That's all they've ever known. Look at my mom, for instance, 30 years at a pediatric office and has patients that their kids will only even let them take a temperature or something like
Right.
because they love my mom and they ask for my mom by name. So you build those relationships. For somebody like that, it's like, okay, well, what do I do now? Do I go back to school? Do I go into training for natural health care? Do I uproot everything? Or do I stay here, stay on my, hold my line and try to make changes from within? So I don't know. I've never, and this is no offense to Dr. Mama Bear, and I said this the other day, and I know that you're like, oh, it's not just for practitioners, it's for mom. I've never wanted to be in any way, shape, or form in any kind of healthcare.
It's not an offense. That's
Right. I'm just saying, like, I get asked all the time, well, when are you going to take Dr. Mama Bear's
who asked you
courses?
that?
And
Who asked you
what?
that? Who asked you that?
Renee, your wife has
Oh,
asked
just
me.
ignore.
Let out on like Velu has asked me. I'm like, have no interest
Because
in
not
doing that.
everyone
But
wants to do something. Hey, just
I was
like
gonna
people
say,
are like, why don't you mow your yard? Because I don't fucking want to. That's why. Like,
for me, it's more of like the creative brain versus analytical, I guess. I don't ever want to have something where, and I'm not saying it's by the book, but I'm not that type of learner, nor do I care to be where it's like, oh, well, this correlates with that and blah blah blah. Like I'm very free flowing in my processes and there's not a lot of room for that with stuff, if that makes sense. So I've just never
I
cared to, and I don't like people. So like not that I don't want you guys to get healthier. I'm not I give you guys the most credit in the world because I would not be able to listen to people's stories
did
over
I
and over again on the phone.
did I show you? Did I didn't did you see the trailer for Curb Your Enthusiasm?
No, I don't.
Oh, you missed it.
I don't
Hold
care.
on.
No
Hold on. You
offense.
do care.
Do I?
You do. I'm going to show you the last part of this. It takes like 10 seconds once I find it. You're going to need to see this because this is this is exactly I'm going to scroll forward to exactly where he says it so you don't have to watch too much.
Honestly, this sounds absolutely horrible. But when I say like I don't like people and I don't want to listen to their stories, I can understand why medical doctors are like, somebody comes in, spills their medical history, is a hypochondriac, thinks everything's wrong with them. I can understand why they just write a script and are like, okay, here, be on your way. Like, you already WebMD'd yourself. You think you know what's wrong with you. You self diagnose yourself as bipolar and depressed and all these other things. Here's your freaking prescription and be on your way because nothing in that, once again, a lot of the stuff is more spiritual than anything. If you already have that mindset that you have all that shit going wrong with you, and doctor, can you help me and all this other shit? I understand most doctors don't do their due diligence, but I understand why they're writing a prescription and telling them to be on their way because these people already have their minds made up and nothing's going to fix them.
Okay. This is the last like 10 seconds of the trailer. This is this is what you mean. Sit back and enjoy this, Nicolette. Ready?
Okay.
I'm going to be honest, I'm disappointed. I was expecting more from a childhood hero.
I really did the best under the circumstances of a person who hates people and yet had to be amongst them.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not saying I hate people. I actually like people. But I'll tell you, and we talked about this on the phone earlier, right? Which was the higher level you go, the more you know, the harder this can possibly get. I actually,
I
Brian,
crave for when
what's
my
that?
friends ask me about like whether it's the conspiracy world or like I was telling you this morning, somebody literally messaged me and says, "What do you know about Nasara?" And I was like, "Sit down, let me tell you." But whether it's true or not, I can't tell you, but I know all about it. Or even just like Rogan type of stuff is so appealing to me, or even Timcast. I know you can't stand Tim Pool. However, I crave those educational conversations where I learned something from somebody. That's the only type of podcast that I'll ever watch is when it's somebody who has something to bring to the table.
I understand. I am halfway through the Rogan Cat Williams podcast, and I think people are in for a big rude awakening. But, you know, it's interesting. Brian Cates put a post up earlier on X, and he was saying, like, basically levels of understanding of where you are. And he only had like 6 levels. and I'm good with Brian Cates. It has nothing to do with Brian Cates. However, he had let me see if I can bring it up because it's kind of funny. The level the levels of where you think you are in understanding of, I guess, kind of like how the world works,
Let me see
if
what
that
he
makes
wrote.
sense, or like what's that?
I said, let me see what his like 6 levels are because I'm
There it is.
curious.
Okay, no, actually, Scott Adams, who is not awake at all. He claims he's awake. He's not awake. He's
like
not
a
awake
lot
at
of
all. He's a
people.
dumbass. Like, honestly. Here it is. Brian Cates has reposted it. So level 1, this is your level awareness in politics. Level 1, they believe what their preferred news say and do not sample other sources, not aware of counter arguments, not aware their news is mostly narrative. So his highest level is, well, 5 is they see the gears of the machine, Mike Pence style. The Republic no longer looks like whatever the founders intended. The control of powerful billionaires and intelligence professionals is now obvious. And then level 6, you're dead because you know too much, also known about Epstein level. And I'm like, that's not that high of a level. Like, based on that, I'm like level
Scratching the
20.
surface.
That's like surface level shit right there.
But this is a good point because, like we were just talking earlier, whether it be Turning Point, CPEG, you know, the people that opt in to watch things like Dan Bongino versus our show and stuff like that, and like, don't get me wrong, there's a place for everybody because everybody resonates with different stuff. It's not even the message; it's the messengers that what resonates with people. I will drill that through people's brain. We could all have the same exact message, but you're going to hear it differently from different messengers. That's such level, like surface level stuff, but most of the truthers or Republicans, or the fact that you're even still calling yourself a Republican, that's where most people are at. I don't consider myself a Republican. I hate the idea of being a fucking Republican. But that's, if you're gonna put me in a box, you know.
Well, it's kind of like last night on After Dark. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
when people would say to me like, well, don't you know that they're all controlled and the Epsteins of the world control them through blackmail and pedophilia and everything else? And I go, that's like basic level shit now. What do you mean it's basic level? Well, who are Epstein and these people worshiping?
Who do they work for?
Who did
How did they
like
get?
who did
How
they,
did
and
they
when
get passes? You think that
like,
they're like these mega genius people that know how to, you know, work the system? No. Like who
do we
once
do we
introduced
not care
them
that
to that world?
do we not care that these people, for lack of a better word, because I don't know exactly what they do, but essentially they worship an extra species from outside of this planet that farms this place. Like,
They don't care.
Do we? What level of learning is that? Because I'm like, that's my basic level at this point, and this is why I have trouble having conversations in life.
I need to pull up like Q iceberg
Oh
level of
God,
understanding type of thing.
somebody
Because
put that. Somebody put that up one day, and I was like, even the lower levels, I'm like, that guys, that's starter pack stuff. Like,
right, but even that at least, or the Q map, for example, the freaking map. Most people have maybe covered 2 things on it, and they're like, "Oh, I'm a truther. I a critical thinker. I know everything." And like this is no hate, but the moment you stop asking questions and trying to break even those narratives that you learn is when you realize that you're in another matrix. That's what it comes down to. And so many people are it's I don't even have words because you know what cracks me up is people still caring about the election.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I do it
I
out
did
of
have a little
pure
cough.
entertainment. Like, yes, I went through all the stuff with my county board and all this other stuff. But like yesterday I got a poll and I wrote something on
Your
Twitter. I
poll was
outed
fantastic.
the poll is fucking hilarious. And it was like it started off fine. It's like, "Oh, what age group are you? What do you what do you consider yourself?" And I was like, "Okay, independent." And then it's like, "Okay, but if you had to choose, like do you lean more towards the Republican? Are you hardcore Republican? Blah blah blah." And then it went into stuff about Trump's cognitive ability because he's too old, and there was like no option to opt out, like saying like, no, I don't think he's too old. And like it didn't sway the other way and say
It's just a
anything about
marketing
Biden
survey.
being old. It was just about Trump being old. And then the one that I posted on Twitter was it was literally like, no, we cannot have a president who has 91 indictments and a felon. Last I checked, you're not a felon until you're actually charged with something. I don't know. But regardless, like it was such a one-sided poll and I was like, this is where we're at though. People still care about the fucking polling numbers. They
I go
still
over to
are
somebody's
like,
house and I see that poll on their counter, and I'm like, and they're like, "Oh, did you fill this out?" I'm like, "I'm not filling that out."
yeah, they still care about who won the primaries, about what systems we're using for our election, which don't get me wrong, I dabbled in it. I've done the research, but until enough people care to change it instead of just hoping that it magically got fixed,
Here's
it
a
doesn't
question:
fucking matter.
were people really like that? So, Nicola, I don't know if you know this, but like, I forgot on Tuesday that it was primary day, like Super
That
Tuesday.
it was Super Tuesday. Yeah.
I actually can't because Sunday night I was
Didn't
up a little.
matter.
Sunday night I was up a little too late. Monday I went to bed early on purpose to like make up for my shitty sleep on Sunday night. And then
Yeah.
Tuesday, I was just hanging out with my daughter and my wife, and I was like, you know what? Like it was a busy weekend, everything else. But I'm gonna go to bed a little early. Like I went to bed at like 10. Right before that, I'm like, oh shit, it's Super Tuesday. I totally forgot. I looked on X a little bit, and the freaking influencers and the Patriots are like, like Facebook is blowing up. Oh my God, look at Donald Trump. He's taking everything. Oh my God, this. And then like right before bed the next morning, like, did you see that they stole it in Maine and blah? And I'm thinking to myself, are we doing this all over again?
Did I roll my eyes hard enough at that comment about Maine?
Are
Like,
we are we doing this
yeah,
again,
like
Nicolette?
so. I have noticed, and I know that we've said things about it before, but this 2024 is an exact repeat of 2020. I am
I
back at
told you we're
square
going back.
one.
Did I not tell you 6
We
months
are
ago we're
back
doing
at
2020 all
square
over again?
one at the beginning of my like major awakening, talking about Pizzagate and talking about like Macaulay Culkin and Michael Jackson. I mean obviously I chipped in because I know tons of knowledge on the subject. So I started putting stuff on Twitter, but we're back at this. People didn't know this. It took the Diddy lawsuits for you guys to realize shit about Michael Jackson when Trump has been telling you the whole time. what the fuck is happening?
We have approximately 600-ish live streaming right now. Like 10 of you are actually in the chat, which is always true. And I appreciate all of you in the chat.
It's slow today.
Right. So the other followers out, the one watching it, whether you're a bot or not, I don't give a shit, right? The people out there who are watching this, like, I have a question for you. I'm not beating you up. My question is this. Do all of you, and by the way, I wear this hat. I love my nation. I love living in my country in this matrix. I understand this is a game. It's a matrix. I have to have value systems. I love the nation that our founders created, which is what I want to go back to, or more fundamental constitutional republic, right? There's pluses and minuses with that. There's not everything is perfect, not everything is bad, etc. But are you out there? Are you really going to go through this year again thinking that a vote is going to change it for you?
Right. So I will say that I myself get caught up in that world but it's
I'm not saying don't fight for your local politics. I'm talking about the big bad election.
right. But I like, so the primaries. Didn't really care. Did I vote? Yes. However, do I think my vote really matters? No. Whatever. The fact that Trump won Michigan and Biden lost to what's the one where you like aren't saying anything about like who you're
Like
just
a
like,
non-decision, you're not sure who you would vote for, something like that.
it's not that. It's
I know
like,
the word. I don't remember the wording. I know what you're talking about though.
yeah, so Biden lost Dearborn, Michigan. And I don't think people understand, because this blows up the entire illegal narrative for people. The fact that the talking point on illegals continually is that Biden is letting them in because he wants to sway the votes in the favor of the Democrats, and he is letting them in to boost crime and stuff like that. The fact that they won't even vote for Biden in a primary, and not to mention these illegals, there's still not a law in Michigan where they still have to have an ID to vote. So the illegals aren't voting yet. So in what? Yeah, I understand. Y'all have some fucking crazy cities that you live in that allow illegals to have driver's licenses and to vote. No offense, Lizzie. I love you, but Boston's fucking crazy.
Massachusetts is crazy, and it's such a beautiful place too. It's really sad.
Right, but so you only have a handful, if that, of places that will allow them to get ID and possibly vote in an election, which is unconstitutional, by the way. That took me off guard because
Keep going. It's all right.
I know I'm trying to like catch my train of thought. You only have a handful of cities that allow for that. Do you think that the illegals are going to sway the election and vote without an ID in 98% of the rest of the country, if your vote even mattered?
Let me follow up with this.
Yeah.
Is there anybody out there at this point who doesn't think that Donald Trump is the other side of the cabal, and they're carrying out a design system to take us from the dark side, which is very degenerate? I'm not gonna try to say it's not the dark. I don't want to live in the dark anymore, right? We're going from the dark, which is trafficking, pedophilia, degeneracy at all levels, and we're shifting it over to not a perfect system, but it's a more moral, a more ethical system.
Yeah.
With that, the eyes will still be on you. That doesn't change. We live within a system. The eyes will be on you, but a more moral, ethical system will be in place for those of us who are productive individuals and have an ethical and a moral viewpoint on life. Will be better for us. It's considered or called a golden age. However, nobody out there, I don't want you to think that Donald Trump is the guy that just happened to stop the system, jump in, and oh my God, he's going to win this thing. And this is a designed situation,
You know what my favorite
everybody.
thing is?
What's that?
You know what my favorite is?
What's that?
The fact that people think that 2016 was the first rigged election.
Don't you dare, Nicolette. He won that straight up, fair
It
and square.
literally cracks me up.
He surprised all of them and won.
Yeah. Like, I don't know if we've ever had a non-rigged election in the history of, I mean, technically since
So hold on. Before you go there.
Yeah.
Was Hillary Clinton not the most popular liberal leftist on the face of the planet in 2016? Correct?
Yeah, liberal,
I mean, obviously we can't stand her, right?
Right.
But every liberal, not only did they love Hillary, they wanted the first female, they loved every viewpoint she had, they loved healthcare for all, they loved the abort, like the liberals who control the number in the cities, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she didn't win. He was so good that he won it, but then he couldn't win against Biden in 20 what?
My favorite is especially there's a specific person who went in a closet supposedly and turned off the cheating. Shut the fuck up. They allowed him to be in that seat. There's no and or which way about it. I did like, oh well, he's not one of them. They didn't want him in that seat. They did everything they could to take him out. Really? Because I've seen friggin' JFK footage. I've seen many other things. I've seen dudes annihilate houses. You're telling me that they really want to take him out? They would have taken him out already.
They burned up a coastal city in Hawaii with a couple laser beams. The driver of the Cadillac or whatever damn car they used, the driver of the car in Dallas, not some dude from a distance. The driver literally turned around on camera and blew the head off of JFK.
I know. I just want to specify.
But this guy fully insulated.
I do want to clarify though. I don't dislike Trump.
I'm a Trump fan.
I was gonna say I will cast.
I don't like some of his shit, but I'm a Trump fan.
I will cast my fake ass ballot for the corporation that is America for Trump. However, my theory behind it is that this has all been a plan for a super long time. We know that Trump didn't just start working on this in 2016. He's been working on things that he's been working on for a long time. So yes, I think that the CIA, FBI, whatever it is, rigged it for Trump to win. They selected him. That 2016 was the time. It aligned with the stars at the time. Major upset. Like that is my belief system about it. But it just cracks me up when people are like, we voted so much they couldn't do enough.
Wait, hold on. Wait.
I can make a few zeros on a computer and like like that. Literally, that's all they needed to do for the ballots. You're telling me that they wouldn't have just dumped another number into the system like they did in 2020? Because they would have, and it like. It's just my favorite is we turned out to vote so much because he's one of the people, and we're tired of the establishment that we outvoted them. They didn't cheat
Try
enough.
harder. Did you by the way, did you see, I'm not saying this is real, I don't know. I shared it to you guys earlier, but I don't think anybody said anything. Did you see the vial of blood transferred? You didn't see this? You didn't see the kid transfer the vial of blood to Joe?
Oh yeah, that's an old video. I thought there was something new.
Hold on. Back up.
That's
Hold
really old.
on. Okay. Well, I hadn't seen it before.
Okay.
Nicolette.
Get with it.
Nicolette.
Stay up to date. Get with it.
Why is a child transferring a blood vial to Joe? I actually just saw it this morning for the first time, and I wasn't sure the timeline or the date on it, but I'm like, okay, that's supposed to be seen, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any logical argument for why that would have occurred, or just part of the? I'm asking a legit question.
Part of the show for me. I mean, honestly, and I hate to be like that, but can you honestly look at like tonight, the State of the Union? Am I gonna watch it? Yes. And I'm gonna make a giant bowl of freaking Amish organic popcorn.
What time is it at?
smothered
9?
in real what?
Is it at 9?
I don't know, but it's gonna
I'll be on an
smothered
airplane. I'll be on an airplane, captive in a steel tube. I will have to watch it.
and real cream butter, and I'm gonna enjoy the shit out of it because when I watch stuff for Biden and stuff, I'm like, this isn't real life. I literally, that's how I view this.
This
stuff.
isn't
I'm
real
like, this
life.
is so ridiculous. There's no way that it's real. And it's not. And we know that. So I'm not saying like, when I say like it's a show, whether it's a simulation just to entertain us peasant folks, the new bread and circus, if you will, or if it's a plan from Q or any of this stuff, it's not fucking real life. None of it's been real life.
Okay, I'm gonna play the clip.
Start in 2016. That's what people. This was my point with like the cheating and stuff. It didn't start in 2016. So somebody's like, don't you think they have to do that in order to get Hillary out? Hillary was never going to become president. The fact that people like myself and other veterans already knew about Burisma means that they already had everything prior to Trump even announcing his presidency. We had the information that she lied about Burisma and Uranium One before Trump. That was already news if you were paying attention. People already hated her for that.
Okay.
So they had all the information. We didn't need Trump in the White House to get all the dirt on these people. We didn't.
So
We had it.
there's two videos. These are older videos. I thought the blood one was newer just because I hadn't seen it before, but this is two videos. Now, I want people to watch these two videos thinking, well, put two thoughts in your mind. One, Biden is legit. This is real. You're watching the takedown of cabal, blah, 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 blah. Over here, I want you to put in your mind, Joe is not around anymore, and this is a movie, and they have to tell you over a period of time. They can't tell you up front because it'll scare the shit out of people. Take those two thoughts in your mind, and I'll play both clips. They're super fast. This is the first one.
Not defunding the police. We
And
have
are
not.
there people who, in the Democratic Party, who want to defund the president?
Are there people in the Republican Party who think we're sucking the blood out of kids?
I'm not sure. Are there people in the Democratic Party?
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna repeat that for if you can't hear it. The reporter
It's
says,
very small.
yeah, it's all I can do. The reporter says,
Okay.
are there people in the Democratic Party who want to defund the police? Simple question. Are there people in the Democratic Party who want to defund the police? His reply is, are there people in the Republican Party who think we're sucking the blood out of kids? That's what his reply was.
Tell me you're sucking the blood out of children without telling me that you're sucking the blood out of
That's
children.
right. Now, here's the second one. I don't know if it's going to be small. No, this is pretty fast. Okay, watch what the kid has and watch what he does.
Yeah. Bum, bum.
Hold on.
Whoever edited that, thank you
Hold on.
for the music. I loved it.
Now, I am a doctor, everybody, and we have done blood tests before.
That's 100% a vial of blood.
When I saw this, I had not seen it before. I didn't remember seeing it. So when I went back and I went, maybe I'm just missing this, right? That is
Purple caps and
100% a vial of blood.
Yeah.
if you don't think this is a movie and all played out, I don't know what to tell anybody at this point.
All right, devil's advocate. What else could you need blood for? Stem cell therapy?
Okay,
Some kind of
let me.
but
Okay,
they're dead if
okay,
they're in that kind of tube.
Okay, so let's go into the logic of this.
Yeah.
Let's say legitimately Joe has a problem. He has maybe a disease or he has an issue, a legitimate health thing, and he has that blood transfused. Could be diabetic. Could be a kidney failure issue. Could be just a blood issue. Whatever. And he actually needs transfusions. Totally understand. I don't think you should be president if you have that kind of a problem, but I understand maybe you have a health issue. Now, here's the problem where I have. That's one thing. I don't know why a roughly 10 to 12-year-old child with a mask on is handing you a vial of blood.
If you ever... Can I take it completely like out there conspiratorial?
Fire away. I don't care anymore.
Do you remember when he had like IV, like
Yeah.
what do you call on his hand?
Yeah.
Hand specifically.
Yep.
What if that, because Biden's out in the open and we know that they pump him full of fucking uppers just to fucking make a sentence? What if that kid was just plugging in his fucking like drugs into his hand?
Oh, God.
It's a thing. You can't tell me that they don't pump them full of uppers. And honestly, everybody gets mad at me for this. It might still be Joe. I have, reason to believe that his face and everything could have been different with his surgeries and what we have literally.
Why would they keep running him out there though?
That's the part where I'm like, this isn't real life. They're doing it on purpose. It's all on purpose. They make a mockery of it because it's on purpose. I said this to Dr. Jen. I said, that's the reason why they don't put Kamala out there, because Kamala stutters like an idiot and she's not a good liar.
Why would you pick two bumbling retards? Why wouldn't you if this is why I don't know, because if you wanted to legitimately run this into the ground, why would you not pick somebody? Well, no, wait, I'm sorry. They want to run it into the ground. Why would they not? If they wanted control, you need a Clinton or an Obama personality who is, and for the record, everybody, Clinton, from my understandings, obviously I'm not saying he's a good person, but Clinton, by all accounts, from everyone who talked about him, was super charismatic, like super kind, a smooth talker. He made you feel like he was your best friend when he talked to you. He was fantastic in front of a microphone. He was articulate. He delivered every way he was supposed to deliver. He just has a problem on the side that he got honeypotted and he really likes the honeypot kind of thing. But from a standpoint of orator and president, supposedly he was epic at his job. You go to Obama, same thing. Obama was a phenomenal orator. If you're talking from a speaking standpoint, you don't get much better than that. Even the way he talks is done in a certain way. Everyone claims when they met him, he was the nicest, over-the-top, kindest individual. Like these people, like you would want people like that in control. If you're trying to control the narrative, you would never leave this dumbass in.
Yeah.
Unless you're imploding the system.
Right, you're imploding the system, and that is my point, is that they're not in control. They're not. It's not possible. And I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, white hats are in control. But I mean, even if it's a super evil, like non-entity pulling the strings, it's not even Obama. That's another thing. Like,
but guys, I want you to get away. Get out of the old world order and the new world order stuff.
Yeah.
Guys, we are changing ages. The ones who are in control are a part of society. This planet is shifting into a new, I'm not calling it new agey. It's shifting into a new age. Guys, they control the world because they're in control of the world. This is being shifted on purpose because we're ending one age and we're going into it. This has nothing to the world ever. You know, it's funny. I love how people, World Economic Forum, they're coming after it. The World Economic Forum Klaus Schwab is not in control of anything important.
Obama's not in control of Biden.
Obama's not in control of anything important. George Soros is not in control of anything important in this world. This goes so high, you wouldn't know the names or the people or the entities that are actually controlling it.
Right. And I'm not reading comments anymore because this is exactly why I don't like people, because it's so basic level. But let me just slap down some mindset stuff for people. Your consciousness is never going to rise when you care about names like you are. The fact that I just said, who cares if it is Biden, if it's a fucking robot, if it's a clone, if it's a fucking actor in a mask? It doesn't fucking matter. Regardless, it's the fact that our country's government is not a government anymore whatsoever. It's not anything of which the founders built. It is not for the people. Is it turning to that? That is what you need to focus on. But not only that, the mindset thing. I've seen a lot of comments today. Oh, Mayorkas said you can't even call them illegal immigrants, and Biden called them newcomers. Who the fuck cares? Who cares what they say?
Are we really debating over this problem on the border at this point?
Right, but this is the worry, the everyday worries of,
because that keeps you out
the truthers and conservatives
understanding of consciousness in life.
Right. So like the people that are worried about illegal immigrants, well, I see them all over my town. Are they bothering you? What did they do to you? Did they jump you? And if you live in a place like New York and you are worried about getting jumped by somebody, you should have been scared before this illegal immigrant thing even happened. It's been a shithole to begin with. I don't know what else to say. You're surprised that it got worse, and now you're even more scared to walk the streets. That's on you. Like, think about why you didn't make the move to begin with in a place of crime. I don't live in Detroit for a reason, because it's been a place of crime, illegal immigrants or not. So they hyperfixate on these things. And this is the mass majority of the conservative side, where they're like, they worry about all these things, or they celebrate the littlest things. The other day you said something about how they were celebrating, was it because of primaries or something like that? Maybe, I don't know, but they celebrate these things, and that so-and-so they impeached so-and-so and they took his salary down to $1, and who the fuck cares? Who cares? Who cares that they're sending money to Ukraine? Because I don't. Guess what? Whatever. My money is not my money to begin with. Oh, you worked hard for your money. You're entitled to it. I'm not.
Well,
that's
so
a
that
whole
actually
can of worms.
So that actually brings us to the real topic at hand. What's happening, everybody? This is what's happening. The prior people running the system built a fake fiat system. It was designed to work for some time. They got very wealthy, but they also printed all the money. So they're going to be wealthy from the start because they print the money. But what happened is nations got out of control. America got out of control. So now it's not because there's legitimate bankruptcy, because that's not a real thing anyway. However, all these governments are so inflated and out of control that their people can't afford stuff anymore because it's so inflated. So all these nations come together at these G20s and World Economic Forums, and even higher, Basel and things are much higher, right? They come to these nations. On the front lines, you guys see, or we see, people coming in front of each other and going, oh, well, we have problems. We're going to work on this climate change and blah, blah, blah. Behind the scenes, what you don't see is where they're talking about shit. People are uprising. They're getting kind of pissed because they can't afford stuff anymore. They're getting pissed at all of us because they know they're starting to wake up to the idea that we're controlling this thing. So what we need to do is we need to suppress this, and we need to do something that makes them forget again that we're in control. So we're going to, over a period of time, we built a new system where we hit a button for a reset, and then we're gonna make it look like we're out of control. Oh my God, you people, you won. You're amazing. You rose up against the machine. We're gonna fall off, bring in the new guys. At the same time, we're gonna create what's called a reset. We'll put gold back in there for a while too, because that's what the species outside of this planet really like. We'll go back to that where it's dollar denominated, it's corrected. Countries become free of debt, just like the Bible tells them. And then what we'll do is we'll stay in control, just some different faces up front. And then the people will never know anything different, but they'll believe that they won the war and they knocked the cabal up. But guess what? At the end of the day, who controls the gold? Oh, the banks do. The families do. Who controls the printing?
Yeah.
Who controls the politicians? Oh, we still control the politicians. They're still going to do what we want to
actually a
do.
great
We're just going to push a button to reset it so that the people believe they're back in control again.
That was a great point about who controls the gold. And on the Rogan versus Cat Williams, which maybe you got to this point, I don't know. It's a very great point because people are like, oh, well, there's only so much gold. Or do you have the belief? We know that there's way more gold than they fucking let us know about. But
I know they were caught up in like, there's not a lot of gold. I'm like, there's so much fucking gold. It's unbelievable.
It depends on who owns the gold.
Correct.
If they take it and hide it and make it a scarcity, that makes the price of gold go up. Just like they did with diamonds. Diamonds are a shit fucking rock that you can find in the earth. Let's be honest. They polished it up. It's so pretty. And now
Nicolette, gold is a shit rock too. The only reason we like gold is because it's a conductive metal.
Same with a lot of other stuff.
That's the value on it. But it's just a rock at the end of the day. It's an energetic rock. That's why it's valuable. It's not a monetary value. It's valuable.
And the fact, like, gold is very malleable, I think is the word for it, where you could take a tiny little bit, and they said this on the Rogan show, and they're absolutely correct about this. You can take the tiniest little bit and cover the entire desk, which is why you have things like gold leaf, where you're able to spread it around because it is, like, the dust of it spreads so far. It's too soft of a metal to work like copper pipes and like stuff like that. So that's why we can't use it for like wiring and stuff the way that you would copper. But it's just, I'm kind of just, I sit here and like somebody's like, oh, I can't handle all the ridiculousness anymore. Like, this is my point. Why are you not sitting back and laughing? Why? Why does the ridiculousness bother you? This is really when we have to take a look in the mirror that's saying, how much does a law or these actors or whatever the fuck they are actually matter to your everyday life?
Well,
what are they adding to it? Are they taking away from your everyday life of you enjoying it with your children, your grandchildren? Are you not able to go outside to the park and enjoy life anymore because of things that they are doing?
Well, so here's a good one. Ready? So how do you win everybody? Like, how do you, like, what? Because most people are going to be like, they're black pilling. There really is no black pill, everybody. It's actually a gold pill. And I say that, we've talked about that for a long time, but it really is. The reason why it's a gold pill is no one controls you but you. Now, you do have to give control up. Somebody said something about we'll always be in this problem if we're governed. No, that's not true, because my wife, I give up permission to my wife to govern me at times. I don't mind being I don't mind being governed if I know the right people are helping govern me, or helping like my wife, like, hey, don't do that. Like, oh, because we're gonna break something or whatever. Oh, hey, can you take the garbage out? Well, she's governing me, but she's a good governor, so I don't mind that occurring. I don't mind somebody giving me orders if they're good at orders. However, for me to win, it is to have the awakening of who I have to know who I am. I have to separate myself as a sovereign soul, not an individual, a soul in this world. And I'll give you a reason why. Because most people complain about money, right? And I want to give a real quick lesson on like from a perception on money. So in the past few months, I've been looking at things and going, okay, how can I make this better? How can I do this? How can I do this? And I got rid of some junk out of my life that was actually holding me back. When I did that, and I was like, and afterwards I was like, dumbass, you knew better than that. Like, why did you, maybe Nicolette said something, maybe my wife said something. And by the way, remember, you have to be governed sometimes, because sometimes I think I have the right answer when Nicolette or Dr. Tina or Dr. Jen or my wife specifically are like, hey, that doesn't like, I don't think that's going to work out well. Not because you're making a bad decision, but like, it just doesn't feel right. And then I go, damn it, they're right. So I get rid of that thing. And then out of nowhere, Nicolette, out of nowhere, I get a message from an old mentor friend of mine who I really, really care about. Great person. And yesterday I meet with him for 30 minutes and he says, hey, I have something for you. I'm like, what's that? He goes, it's free too. It's like no cost to it. He goes, and actually he upsold me, but I wanted to be upsold. He goes, I have something for you. I'm going to send you a link. It's like a training course.
Sucker for a sale.
I'm always a sucker for sale. So he says, here it is. I look at it and I'm like, oh my God, this is brilliant. He gave me a free item that's worth at least $5,000-$10,000. A free item that allows us, you and I, my wife as well, our friends, to create new things to help more people, which helps obviously more people get healthy, but also helps more revenue come in a proper and ethical way, right? That then long term makes everything else better, and then turns around and he says, hey, I'm doing this whole inner circle thing. He sends it over. I'm like, this is a no-brainer. I told my wife, like, we're both allowed in this. He's invited both of us. I win, you win, my wife wins, people out there watching the show win, he wins, and consciousness goes up another level. And guess what? Guess what? There were literally millions of dollars in revenue, potentially millions of people helped off of literal free. There was no money spent yet. It was literally just an idea given to me. And then I looked up the idea. I spread the idea a little bit more. Literally zero money was spent for all of us to grow. And people are like, I don't know how to get better.
What did I tell you the other day?
What's that?
When it came to merchants and churches and stuff, what did I tell you the other day? I said, when these people, or when anybody gives what they bring in, it comes back to them tenfold.
100%.
When you're only worried about profit and stuff and stressed out about bills, and I fall into this category too. You guys, you can ask Dr. Dean. I stress about finances more than somebody should, and it's something that I'm breaking.
There's no reason to stress about it. Anyway,
I'm aware, but it's
part of your growing. It's part of your spiritual awakening.
I was going to say, it was a huge indoctrination, as many people in the thing, like in the chat, and anybody. So when I say, how do the laws and stuff of these people affect your everyday life? Many will say, well, they make things more expensive for me and I can't afford them. Like that is probably going to be the absolute number one answer. And I will be the first. And like I said, I fall into this category sometimes where I'm like, fuck, my electric bill went up and how the hell are we going to afford bills? But at the same time, I sit back and I'm like, man, I got a fucking freezer full of food. I got cupboards full of food. I can grow a garden at any time. You can buy a fucking onion and grow like 20 onions off of the one.
Nicolette, we have people out there bitching about how horrible life is right now, and they have a fucking roof over their head. And there's kids out there who have nothing.
Right. So even if the government decided to take 98% of my money tomorrow, which I would never fucking let happen, I'd be like, go fuck yourself. I'm not paying taxes. But even if they decided to do that, I'd be like, I'll be okay.
Figure it out.
They don't have that much power over me. And that's what people fail to recognize. They only have as much power as you let them have, as much as you give them. And that goes with anything in your life. I don't know how many times it's been said or who said it, but it's not the problem in and of itself happening to you, it's how you react to it.
Totally.
And then
100%.
it's a huge huge change when you think about things that different way. And as far as being governed, somebody like that's where you came from, or like how your wife governs, that whole spiel that you were talking about. When you talk about something like that, one, you have to define governed, because one, you cannot um have a world of anarchy. It doesn't freaking work because
Correct.
people aren't self accountable.
Anarchy
And
is the dumbest thing, honestly, that people.
Accountability is subjective as well.
Correct.
Like, I feel like I could be taking accountability in a way that Dr. Dean might not agree with. So
Correct.
therefore, the world doesn't work that way, and because we have free will, it just will never work. You have to have a high level of self accountability in order for something like anarchy to work. But not only that,
Which there is not high accountability in anarchists. I can tell you that for the right now.
there's not a high accountability in
Every
life
anarchist, any
for a lot of
anarchist I've ever met, any anarchist I've ever met was not someone I ever wanted to be around for more than a second. And that's no joke. Like, they've all been complete assholes and irresponsible at a level I can't even, like, you can't comprehend.
Let me ask you a question, and this goes way deeper. When you talk about being governed, do you think following a religion and something of the sort of the Ten Commandments is governing?
Are the 10 Commandments governing?
Yeah.
Is that what you're asking?
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. Let me go refresh myself because I have not.
It's rules to a way of life.
No, let's see. Hold on. You shall not know the God before me. You shall not make unto any of the graven images. Shall not take the name of the Lord God in vain. Remember the Sabbath day and holy. Shall not kill. Most of those, I would say, are just smart rules to live by in general. Ethics,
Right.
morals.
But in a way, it's governing.
Yeah. Well, you have to. I mean, well, here's a good example. Here's a good example, Nicolette.
Why else wouldn't I be able to kill?
Does a child not need to be governed?
Absolutely, they do.
If you let a child go, my God, like,
Right.
You like my daughter. My daughter's been raised really well. I'm not saying we're perfect. She still has to be governed. There's things where, like, oh, okay, you're not doing that. Okay, that's not a good idea.
Yep.
Okay, this is not a good idea. Right? And why are there juvenile delinquents? Because they weren't fucking governed. That's why.
Right. So I and people are gonna call this blasphemy because I'm correlating a government to religion. And I know that there's no place for religion in government. However, you look at the Ten Commandments for something like the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. Are the Bill of Rights not similar in just a moral, ethical code in which to live by, so that way the people of a land are free and cannot be taken advantage of?
100%. And that's why our founding fathers in our original colonies that were country, that is why we don't stick so well to those because we just believe they were good. That actually hits the core of who we are. It resonates with our soul. Those rules and those laws that are put down, I sleep at night knowing those are for the good of our society and humanity. And there's a reason why other countries suck at what they do, because those resonate with the soul. And by the way, you know why they resonate with the soul? Because our founders were in contact with those that actually created all of this. And I'm talking literal contact. There's a reason they had secret societies, because they couldn't tell everybody who they were actually in contact with.
Yeah. So, Angel, I understand that you're probably trying to defend your thing, and it might not be coming across in text. Like, you're trying to defend on what you were trying to say or something of the sort.
Wild animals do not
Hold on.
always know how to, wild animals do
I
not
know.
always
Hold
know
on
how
a
to raise
second.
their.
some wild animals you're fucking on your own the second that you hatch, or
Yeah.
you
Go look
know,
at a stork
turtles.
throw a baby off the edge of a nest because it's not like
Turtles will bury their eggs, sea turtles, and the sea turtle eggs have a natural way of knowing how to find their way back to the ocean because they have natural instincts. Just as a baby, which I don't recommend and do not do this, if you throw a baby in a pool, which I'm not saying throw, but a baby naturally flips over to keep themselves from drowning. Now, can they sustain that for a long time? No. Just like your body naturally will prune up to try to get a better grip if it feels like you were trapped underneath if you're drowning or something. You have natural instincts to do so. And the fact that people think that they are so helpless is insane to me.
Have you seen the stork mom go over to like 3 little baby storks and is like, you know what? This one sucks. They fucking pick it up by their stork beak. I don't know if it's a pelican or stork. I think it's a stork. And they fucking throw it off the edge.
Do you know what kookaburras do?
No.
Kookaburras, it's either I'm pretty sure they're the ones raising the young. There's a different kind of bird that will literally kick a kookaburra's egg out of the nest and place their own in it and trick the kookaburra into raising their young. So
the wild is the best to watch. It seriously is.
Yeah, and we watch documentaries all the time.
I love it. I watch this shit at night just for fun of it.
Fucking one that you sent, it wasn't a documentary, but Bradley thought it was the other day with AOC. But yeah, regardless, I'm just saying that it's up to you to find those natural instincts and not give, the outside power over you. That's basically what it is. But we do need governing. We do need to make changes, but it all comes back down to self-accountability and you're right, morality. But once again, morality is subjective.
Do you know why they put a governor on a NASCAR stock car? Because they found out that's why it's called a governor, because when they put the governor on the engine, they keep them at around 210 miles an hour going around Daytona.
Because you meant they put a governor on the sponsorship spots.
Let's define the term. Like a governor, like they put a governor on the engine because they found out after a few deaths that like 210-ish, okay, we'll have some accidents, but it seems like if we put a few safety things in, we'll be okay. But when we take that governor off and they get up to 220, 230, fucking chaos ensues. And people literally die, and it's no longer any fun because now we're just mourning people and it sucks. Versus if we pull it down to like 210, they start getting comfortable. Now we can have some bumping. Now we can have some people. Now these guys get used to it. Now we're having some fun because people aren't dying. There are accidents, which are kind of entertaining. But now we got some rubbing. We have some racing. Now the fans are into it. This is fun because it's order. You can't go to chaos. You have to bring it to order. And order is done by rules and laws. And you will have a society. Yeah. And everyone out there, you can call me a Freemason all you want because some people are like, that's Mason. The Masons are not a bad organization. They're not worshiping the fucking devil. Start learning and reading. There's good and there's bad in everything. They learned in the universe. The universe makes order out of chaos because order is the only way you can grow.
We've said this before, but I need to cover this again because everyone's right.
Of course.
Everybody is right, but it's all about perspective. Once again, just like I just was saying, it's, morality is subjective, all this other stuff. Life Guy just said, stepdaughter said my generation and older caused abandonment issues because we let babies cry. She said, we need to attend to every noise they make and every move they make. She's right.
What's that?
You guys didn't govern your kids, and now we have a bunch of entitled asshole millennial and Gen Z.
They
want
excuse me.
Tons
the fucking
of money.
These kids are irritating as fuck and they're stupid. I'll just say
they want tons of money for zero fucking work. They want everything handed to them. They want zero accountability because you never disciplined your fucking kids because you weren't paying attention.
And that
And I'm
doesn't mean
sorry.
beat them. That doesn't mean beat them. It means put in law and order and
Right.
morality.
Right. Make fucking rules in your household. They're crying or whatever. And to me, the whole Ferber method, I'm assuming that's what you're talking about, is
It
like
worked
you
for
let your
some
kids
people.
cry it out. I don't agree with that, because at that point, that's a time when your child is that young and you're like sleep training and stuff. That is a time when you were supposed to be nurturing and teaching people the way. However, as they grew up, I'm not saying coddle them. You have to set rules and boundaries. And when you just ignore it, then that creates a whole nother thing. And like she said, abandonment issues. There's 100% abandonment issues in millennials and Gen Z and so forth. They are
There's also the other
screaming
side
for.
too. You
I
can't
was gonna
coddle
say-
them over everything either.
Right. But at the same time, they are screaming for your attention, whether it's through, somebody said, making tons of money on OnlyFans. There's that. There's the trans community. They don't know who the fuck they are because you didn't give them a fucking moral compass. Like that, let's be honest. People didn't set family values, and then they're going to blame it on the government and the nuclear family and all this other stuff that they didn't make a difference in their lives. Guess what? Both my parents worked probably 50 plus hours a week. My grandma, all my grandparents were involved in my life. And I know some people are like, well, my mom wasn't that lucky. I had to have a babysitter. Okay, your mom hired the babysitter. Why didn't she pick one with the same moral compass as her? Like, those are all things. But instead, people are, I'm going to send you to a public school that I don't fucking agree with. I'm going to take the easy way out on everything. I'm going to give this iPad to my kid. I'm going to give this kind of technology to my kid. I see it in sports. I'm about to start coaching basketball again, and I'm kind of dreading it. But at the same time, I'm hoping that.
Are you really?
Yeah, well, Bradley's playing basketball.
Oh, okay. Got it.
So
I thought you're like getting back in, like competitive. Like, shit, you're going back in, huh?
I would love to play basketball, but honestly, it's very, very
No,
hard.
I mean coaching,
to find.
like coaching competitively, like.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I'll climb up the ladder as Bradley goes if he likes it enough and stuff. But I dread coaching these kids now, because when I was a kid, my grandpa coached
I'm
me.
thankful my daughter does not play sports. We did, other than little golf, and I actually had her going to camp because I'm like, and she's not a pain in my ass, but I'm like, I watch some of these other kids and I'm going, I would never coach these kids because I like, they're afraid to sweat, and I'm like, I'm making my daughter sweat in the open sun just so she gets used to being tough.
Well, this is a great point about not having discipline. So I grew up, my grandpa coached my sister for a bit, then my dad started coaching me. My dad coached my brother. Then it got to the point where after 14 years of playing the game, I coached my brother for 2 years. Basketball has always been in my family, and it started with my parents stepping up to coach, to be the one to instill the sportsmanship and stuff that they saw fit. Because a lot of parents won't even bother to volunteer to coach something like Little League. But anyway, while my dad was, in a way, still coddling, he did get participation trophies for everybody at the end of the season. My dad was also very strict in the fact that he had a whistle, and you better fucking line up on the baseline when he blows that whistle, because if not, you're running the whole practice. It doesn't matter if you're 6 or if you're 15. That's how it works. That's how you learn the skills of the game, is you sit down, shut up, or stand, whatever, stop bouncing the ball, and listen to the coach when they are talking. Went to my son's, I almost called it football, soccer practices. One little girl comes in a fucking tutu and like rain boots. What the fuck, mom? Get your daughter ready for a fucking soccer match. Whatever. But the coach didn't even have a whistle. And this is
No
why I
whistle?
ended up taking over that team. The coach didn't have a whistle. When she tried to yell to get their attention in the gym, the kids ran around like it was nothing. They had zero discipline and didn't even listen to their parents on the sideline saying, "Hey, go line up for the coach." This is a problem. So yeah, I'm dreading basketball, and these parents are probably going to think I'm the worst fucking coach. But then by the end of the season, the teams are always this happens every time I coach, where they always think I'm like a hard ass. They don't necessarily like the way that I'm talking to the children, and I hear it all the time. And then by the end of the season, they're like, "This is such a close knit team that really love the game because you taught it to them in a way that actually made them pay attention." So, but this is something that's lacking now. And I see it. I'm 30 with very, very young kids. Where are the 40-year-old dads to step up and coach Little League and stuff anymore?
Yeah.
Every time I sign my son up for something, they're always needing coaches. Always.
Because there's no toughness anymore. There's no rules. There's no order to it. There's no. I mean, we just made the change in the house because she went from 2 days of gymnastics to next level. So now it's 3 days of practice. And I go, oh, rules changed. She's like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
I go, well, you're practicing 3 days a week now, and it's a higher level. So therefore, in the past, because you're homeschooled, we don't always make you get up super early. Like you can sleep in a little bit.
My kids don't have a bedtime.
I go, guess what? Now you're 3 days a week. That means your body has to recover and it has to repair. Plus you're working out on the side, which is fine. We support it all. That means your food is we're going to make very clean, like totally clean. It's already clean, but cleaner. And you're in bed by certain times at night. Why? Because you need time for recovery. So we will support you all the way through this. However, mom and dad are both athletes. Your time in life will be structured from now on to support the endeavors you're going for.
Yeah, it's the same for Bradley. When we have something to do, it's like, hey, you're going to bed. I have friends that call me late at night and they're like, "What is your daughter still doing up?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's 1:00 in the morning. I don't care. I'm up. I get to sleep in tomorrow. She gets to sleep in tomorrow. It fits my schedule. I like sleeping
changes if it
in.
needs to change.
I'm the type of person that loves to sleep in. So if my daughter is going to stay up with me, I'm up. Why not let her be up? I don't care, but it's just one of those things. I understand needing coaches is nothing new. However, it is.
No, the coaches today suck.
I remember.
We used to get balls thrown at us.
Do you?
Did anybody not get ball? Like we had footballs and basketballs thrown at us. Damn it!
Did you guys ever try out for a team and not make it?
I tried out for basketball. It was a bad idea, and I got cut before they made cuts because I sucked at it. And guess what I did? I went home. I felt bad, and then I recovered the next day. And I realized I don't even want to play.
Let me put it this way. There is now not even enough kids to fill teams even trying to try out for stuff. That's a problem. And don't blame the fucking video games. 9 times out of 10, and I know this because these moms are my kids' friends' parents. Oh, we don't have time to do that. I'm already stressed enough as it is. I don't want to be going to practice every day. I don't want to be running the kids around. I'm not a taxi cab service. Oh, so you want to go home, sit on your butt, and let your kid chill on their iPad. Got it. Yeah. That's literally what it comes down to. There's not enough kids that even want to play sports. They're not interested in them. Bradley really isn't much interested in sports. He's like, I'll try it. And he has a lot of energy. He loves to play outside and stuff like that. But it's the structure thing that he's not used to yet. And we want him to be. But Tim and I have come to the realization, like, sports might not be his thing. Maybe he says he also wants to try piano lessons. That's another form of discipline that, it's
hell yeah,
willing to try. But so there's other things. I understand that, but the lack of, man, like I said, I just remember all these kids getting cut, or, oh, we have to have 12 kids on a team, which is more than enough for a basketball team. You only have 5 on a court at once. And now it's like, hey, we have 8. Can you do that? Okay, so you're telling me that 2 of the kids are not going to get a break and are going to be running at least 75% of the game. Cool.
Before we go, because I have to catch a flight, real quick, I'm curious.
Yeah.
From a important standpoint, I want two quick opinions from you. From an actual important standpoint, any highlight you think that'll happen tonight at the State of the Union, and then on an entertainment standpoint, do you think there's anything overly entertaining that will happen?
Here's the highlights. Ready?
That's what I wanted.
Our economy's fine.
Well, he already prepped that one. Yep, you're right.
Lowest unemployment rates. Got over 1,500 people back in the workforce, or 15,000.
Great economy, low unemployment rate. Go ahead.
I don't know. I'm honestly being sarcastic, obviously. But,
but wait, inflation's under control.
Yeah, inflation's completely under control. It's already dropping. Don't worry. The fact that it went from whatever 17% to 15%, it's still dropping. So that's what matters.
We have Russia on their heels.
Yeah. We need to support Ukraine. We need to support Israel. Blah 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 blah.
And China better not encroach on Taiwan because we need chips.
Oh, interesting. Hold on a second. Did you completely delete TikTok off your phone?
No, I still have it.
Open it. 2 seconds. Just open the app. That's all you got to do. There's a giant message that says, call your Congress, people. They're trying to ban us and get rid of us on TikTok today. The second you open the app, it tells you to get a hold of you.
I'm not on my phone app right now.
Oh, yeah. Never mind then. But yeah, anyway, so it'll be a bunch of stuff about that. And this is really, when we talk about so many people cared about, earlier we were talking about how people aren't going past the surface. This was the biggest grievance that I had with the Reawaken tour, and why I decided to stop going was because when Israel happened, people were so caught up in Israel versus Palestine, as many are, and you guys see it every day. Liberals are mad that Biden won't stand up for Palestine, which some of the shit that's happening on the Gaza Strip is brutal. I saw some pictures the other day of things that Israel has been doing. Fuck, y'all. I don't know how anybody can be like, nope, that it's fine. We warned you to get out. It's fine that you just got ran over by a tank. We warned you. That's messed up. But regardless, when they started talking about Israel and stuff, I said, why are we not talking about who funded Hamas to begin with? Why are we not talking about our government being run by Mossad and funded by that stuff? And those are questions that people don't even ask. When we're talking about funding Ukraine, yeah, you guys know about some labs and you know about a little bit of corruption there, but do you know which one of your own city council members might be tied into that? No. And that's the deeper that you guys need to focus on.
So I tomorrow will be out of town. However, I did an interview with Dr. Anna Mihalcha on Monday afternoon. I was thinking I was going to go live on Monday evening with it. However, I decided not to. There are some key points in this interview that are very important. I'm not going to tell you what they are. This will air live tomorrow at noon Eastern time. So don't worry, I won't be here. Nicolette won't be here, but the show will be a brand new episode. And there's 2 things in it that are massively highlighted. 1, deeper information on the COVID shot. 2, which I actually find more important, is she makes a stunning realization, scientific finding, that I then ask her more information about in regards to the childhood schedule, not right now, but the childhood schedule that's been going on since the 1980s. And that's something that no one knows about, to the extent that I have to start researching it because I didn't know. And it's a very deep biochemistry situation. That will play tomorrow at noon. And again, it's brand new. You've never seen it before. It's not a old episode. So that's tomorrow at noon.
You guys, Pink Honey, you don't need a deep dive on P. Diddy. I know that people find stuff like that entertaining, but this is exactly what I've been talking about this entire episode when it comes to scratch the surface. You guys know that Epstein was run by likely Mossad. You guys already know about the Illuminati and Pizzagate and Hollywood. What? Just because there's actual names in it, is it entertaining to you? It doesn't matter. You know that it's happening. You're aware of it. That's all you need to know.
And here's the other thing with that.
Yeah.
I'm not telling you what to do, everybody, but I'm going to make a recommendation.
Oh.
I'm going to make a recommendation on keeping your sanity. And this is the recommendation. There's a lot of people on you know this. There's a lot of people out there on social media who, 1, are assholes. 2, you don't even know who they are. So for example, like Ariel, right?
Stupid.
Ariel, no one knows. Just because there's a picture of a black dude's face doesn't mean that's who that is, everybody. This guy is getting follows, and I'm not saying he's good or bad. This guy is getting follows by so many people, and yet he could be a bot from AI for all you guys know. There's nothing. So this is what occurred. 1, everyone in the human trafficking world is now evil and satanic, and they're just trying to be in front of you. And then yesterday,
Tim Ballard, Ashton Kutcher, now Tim Tebow.
So yesterday really kind of irritated me, not because I was triggered by it. I live in the state of Florida.
Yeah.
My wife she graduated from the University of Florida. She is a Gator, right? She doesn't like do a ton with them, but she is like, when you're a Gator, you're a Gator. When you're a Knoll, you're a Knoll. When you're a Hurricane, you're a Hurricane. Down in Florida, we take this shit seriously, right? She doesn't love everything about colleges, but she had a great college that she went to. University of Florida is a great school. They just got rid of all the DEI bullshit, by the way, and they fired a bunch of woke people who run the department. So they're going in the right direction. However, Tim Tebow was in front of Congress yesterday.
Yeah.
Afterwards, Ariel I couldn't watch the clip. Like, I watched it twice and I was crying both times. Like, it punches you in the face. Mm-hmm. So right after that, Ariel decides to go and say, Tim Tebow is a Satanist who is tricking all of you. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you people, are Americans real? Are truthers out there really falling? Tim Tebow, I'm not going to say I know him personally. I know people who know him. Tim Tebow has done so much for not only the state of Florida, but the country. Like, that dude is a good dude. When you sit,
and I don't want people to comment and be like, oh no, we know better than that or something. People don't. You see comments underneath that post and people are like, thank you so much, Ariel. I was wondering about him.
Like, what the fuck?
Who the fuck is Ariel to tell you anything?
Tim Tebow is a Christian dude who, by the way, gave up his NFL career and didn't push the envelope because he had a greater purpose in life. And now he's literally helping rescue trafficked children. And he does a million other things for charities in the state of Florida. What the fuck are we doing, people? Like, when you're following these idiots online, like, that is not helpful to anybody's mind or spirit. And I'm not trying to defend Team Tebow. I just happen to live in Florida, and I know what he does down here.
Tim Tebow's speech was absolutely great, and especially the part where he goes, I've played on a lot of teams, and in every aspect, for most of them, we were given every resource possible to win. He goes, why are we not giving the resources to win in this case and save these kids?
In football, they're given millions and millions of dollars to win, but they're not given anything in this.
Right.
Yeah. It just makes me sick.
And like, obviously we know why they don't fund these things.
Right.
But the more we talk about it, the more people are aware. And it's, yesterday you made that show about the fake plastic butter, and people are like, I hate watching Bill Gates. Can we do a next subject? And all these fucking comments of next subject, we know already. But who's that one person out there? You know, most people, like I keep saying this, but most people are still eating fucking Cheerios to lower their cholesterol. Who's that person out there that's going to buy? I was victim of something like this, actually. I will say, years ago, Country Crock came out with a plant-based butter.
Country Crock. I used to eat Country Crock.
But they came out with a plant-based butter.
Did they?
And it was made with avocado oil, and I was like, this sounds so healthy for me. Guess what? I think I still...
That was in your pro-vax days.
Mate, no, I would say that it was probably like early or like 2019 or I don't know, but whatever. Regardless, I thought that it sounded healthier. But I'm saying, like, it doesn't matter if just one person views this. You might already know about plastic butter or something. But if just one other person views the video that Dr. Dean did yesterday and changes their lifestyle and pays attention to food labels like you all do, then that's making the difference.
Correct. And
that's
for the record,
the
Nicolette,
whole point of the show. It's not to be an echo chamber.
This is why we piss people off all the time. This is why we don't have 250,000 followers, because we actually like do the work and we tell you, hey, you gotta fucking be responsible for yourself. But can I tell you something that I might here? They're gonna get mad at me. When Savor hits
I was
the shelf,
gonna do something to make them mad at the end too.
Okay,
go ahead.
I'll do mine first. When Savor hits the shelves, guess what I'm gonna do?
Buy it.
I'm going to buy it. I'm going to taste it. I'm gonna try to cook with it, just because I want to see.
I want to see if it'll like peel off like a plastic layer. I want to see
what it does, and I want to see. I'll take like a taste. I'm not gonna like eat it all day, but I want to know what this shit's gonna take, because in reality,
butter flavored petroleum jelly.
No, because in reality, Nicolette, what if this shit tastes good? Like, that's gonna take more work to get people not to do it. Like, you need to know some of this stuff. I'm not gonna take a vaccine, but butter, like, I'll try it just because I'll be like, okay, that first of all tastes like shit. Second of all, it doesn't work. Yeah. I'm kind of joking because, like, we're not gonna die. Like, I'm not gonna be a user of it, but I've drank soda before just to tell people, hey, this stuff sucks.
I 100%, like, I know regular, like, you all know normie people, whether it's parents, family, friends, whatever. I had a friend, they had to do the regular like DOT physical for the year because of his what I call license, and they do the measure of the neck thing, and they're like, oh, we have to send you for a sleep apnea test. And they gave him a nutritionist, and obviously the nutritionist is shit because it goes through the medical system, and one of the things was butter. So him and his wife went out shopping, and what did they buy? They bought Smart Balance Heart Healthy butter in a tub. It's like, that shit's horrible for you. Eat fucking butter. I don't know what else to fucking tell you. Carnivore diet, eating butter, eating salt, and he's lost weight now. He kept saying, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I keep eating salads. I actually love vegetables, all this other stuff, but I can't seem to lose weight. I said, your body's inflamed as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and it's not me inflaming it. It's the glyphosate that's on all those vegetables that you're eating, thinking that you're losing weight, and all these other things. So what we do matters. We all know those people that still have, I can't believe it's not butter in their fucking fridge.
Yep. 100%. All right, everybody.
Hold on, I got to piss them off.
Oh, piss them off, quick.
Okay, so earlier this week, you dropped that I had some information, and I'm going to tell you guys, and I'm going to run and not give you any more information about it. How about that?
Go for it. Oh, shit,
The
that's
Army,
right. You have less than 2 minutes.
Yeah, the Army is dissolving positions.
Say it again.
As in no more Army.
Say it again.
The Army is dissolving positions.
As in?
The Army is dissolving. Like, literally, those groups are not going to be there.
There will be no Army, everybody.
Eventually. Right now, it's just so many thousand. But eventually. And I know everybody's going to be like, what does that mean? Who's going to protect us? I'll tell you on Monday.
Have a great weekend. Well, tomorrow, noon, Dr. Anna Mihalcha. Watch that. I'll see you on Monday. And we'll do more. Have a great weekend, everybody. Well, I don't want to say that. Have a great Thursday. I keep in my head, I'm like in a different world, right? For Nicolette, Dr. Jason Dean, it's Brave TV. Bye.
Bye, everyone.